And welcome back to another episode of Monday Evening Quarterback. I thank you so very much for following along. As always, I hope you guys enjoyed the first portion of the show. Talked about what caught my eye in college football. Now we're going to get into the NFL. But I just realized when I was talking college, I forgot to mention one game that was pretty big Saturday night. And that's the Oklahoma Sooners going into Knoxville and beating the Tennessee Volunteers. Now, I'll admit to you, I have been kind of on the fence about John Mateer and him coming back. I thought Oklahoma kind of rushed him back a little too soon coming into this game. It really was strength facing strength. Oklahoma has that stingy defense, giving up 243 yards per game, which is the fewest in the SEC. And Tennessee averaging damn near close to 50 points per game. I think they average about 51 a game, which is the most, or the second most in the FBS. And I just like the way Oklahoma bounced back Saturday night. Defensively, they really got after Joey Aguilar. They forced a couple of turnovers. I remember that strip sack fumble was, to me, that kind of set the tone for Oklahoma. This is a huge win for Brent Venables, especially how they looked the week before against the Ole Miss Rebels at home, because Ole Miss cut through them like I don't know what. But yeah, you got to give Oklahoma all the credit in the world, and that just makes their playoff chances look so much better right now. But the Sooners did win that game by a score of 33-27. Yeah, Oklahoma ran the ball pretty efficiently. Xavier Robinson, 16 carries, 115 yards on the ground, average 7 yards per carry. Joey Aguilar, 29 of 45, 393 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. John Mateer, 19 of 29, 159 yards, no touchdowns, 1 pick. But yeah, Oklahoma kind of controlled the line of scrimmage just by running the football. That's a huge win for them. They win that game 33-27. Week 9 of the NFL. It'll be in the books tonight. But let's talk about everything that happened before. Where to start? It started Thursday night in Miami. The Dolphins are just absolutely putrid. I don't know any other way to put it. Lamar Jackson came back, and you just see how much different of a football team the Ravens are with him compared to how they are without him. Yeah, Baltimore dominated this game 28-6. Probably the best all-around game I've seen from the Ravens all year long. Lamar Jackson, 18 of 23, 204 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. And Derrick Henry finally got him jump-started. 19 carries, 119 yards, no touchdowns. And as a team, Baltimore ran the ball for 150 yards. There's really nothing more to say about this game. Next. Again, it was another entertaining week. New England escapes again. 24-23. The Patriots are 7-2. And I think Drake May needs to be added to that MVP conversation. He's playing unbelievable football. I got to give the Falcons credit because they did hang on. And if Kirk Cousins had started in this game, New England probably would have blew them out, something like 28-3. Michael Penix came back, 22 of 37, 221 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. New England holding Bijan Robinson in check, 46 yards rushing on 12 carries. But Drake London was the difference maker for Atlanta. 9 carries, 118 yards, 9 receptions, 118 yards, and 3 touchdown passes on 14 targets, and 3 receiving touchdowns, excuse me, on 14 targets. And yeah, on the New England side, Drake May, 19 to 25, 19 to 29, 259 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, 1 interception. Travion Henderson, 14 carries, 55 yards. New England's just playing well right now. I had Mike Vrabel as my coach of the year, and right now I think he's in the driver's seat to get this award. I know for a fact Tennessee would love to still have him right now because they look like they'd actually care about football, because right now they don't. The Titans are a mess. New England remains in first place in the AFC East. Couldn't tell me you saw that coming around this time of the year. So there were 2 shockers in the NFC North to me. The first one happened in Detroit. I don't know if it was just rust for the Detroit Lions, but I think they kind of overtook. They took the Minnesota Vikings a little too lightly for my liking. J.J. McCarthy, his first game back in quite some time. Last time we saw the Lions, they were handling business against the Detroit Lions. Last time we saw the Lions, they were handling business against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Monday night. Looking at it, I think when the Lions don't get their running game going, that just kind of halts everything and freezes everything. As a team, the Lions only ran the ball for 65 yards. So Brian Flores' game plan was to dare Jared Goff to beat them. And the Lions took both games from Minnesota last year and dominated them, especially in the finale. J.J. McCarthy, 14 to 25, 143 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he did throw an interception. But it was how Minnesota used Aaron Jones. They used him as a receiver. They used him as a running back out the backfield. And he put a lot of pressure on his Lions defense. The Lions hurt themselves, and Dan Campbell just didn't have his men ready to play. The Vikings escaped this one with a 27-24 victory. Let's see what else. Let's go to Lambeau, because the Packers were a 2-touchdown favorite against Carolina. And I'll be completely honest with you. I haven't really been sold on the Green Bay Packers this year. Yeah, they dominated in the first 2 games against Detroit and Washington, but then look how they dropped the ball to the Cleveland Browns. They tied with the Cowboys. Didn't look all that good against Arizona. Really didn't look all that good against Pittsburgh. If anything, Pittsburgh kind of gift-wrapped them that game. And then yesterday, against Carolina, I just think they took the Panthers a little too lightly for my liking. I say this all the time with Israel Rivera on College Football Showdown. The same thing can be said. Teams just overlook opponents, and I think Green Bay overlooked Carolina because they were looking ahead to the Eagles. Oh, we're the far more superior team. We have the best record in the NFC. That means absolutely nothing. You still got to go out there and play. Carolina leaves Green Bay with a 16-13 victory, and Bryce Young did come back. Rico Dowdle, he continues to put this offense on his back. 25 carries, 130 yards, and 2 touchdowns against a pretty good Packers run defense. The problem I have with Green Bay is what version of Jordan Love do we get, and why don't they establish Josh Jacobs a little bit more? I could also tell you why Green Bay didn't look all that good. It was those awful uniforms that they had on. It wasn't a good look. You look good, you play good. You play good, they pay good. However Deion said it. I wasn't expecting this, but this is the National Football League, where you have to expect the unexpected. But yeah, the Packers, they dropped the ball yesterday. Probably the most exciting game of the day, outside of what happened at Orchard Park, was in Cincinnati. Chicago Bears, Cincinnati Bengals. This was a can of alphabet soup without one letter, the letter D, because no defense was played in this game. I personally think the Cincinnati Bengals are cursed. And they're cheap. Yeah, they paid Joe Burrow. Yeah, they paid T. Higgins. I don't think Trey Hendrickson's going to be there. I think yesterday was his final game against the Bears. I think he's going to be traded at the deadline. Joe Flacco, 31 of 47, 470 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Caleb Williams, 20 of 34, 280 yards and 3 touchdowns. Now, I want to say this. I saw a Facebook post the other day, and it went along the lines of Chicago doesn't know how to develop a quarterback. It's always the same spiel and this and that. And I just said, yeah, hold on. Like, Caleb has had 3 head coaches in not even 2 full years. Hopefully this sticks for him, because that's what he needs. He needs a system that's going to consistently stay intact. Just saying. Kyle Monangai, way to introduce yourself in the NFL. 26 carries, 176 yards, no touchdowns, but when the Bears are committed to running the football, they could be a really good offense. And I think that's what Ben Johnson kind of wants to reestablish like he did in Detroit. He had that 2-headed monster. Give him his own little 2-headed monster in Chicago. This was a back-and-forth game, and it looked like the Bengals had it, but the Bears pulled away, 47-42. The Bears are 5-3. The Lions lost. The Packers lost. Maybe there's a little glimmer of possibility for the Bears in the NFC North. One of the games I previewed on the site this past week, was the Colts and Steelers. Now, I know everyone's been trying to still figure out the Indianapolis Colts. Yeah, the 7-1. Owners of the best record in not just the AFC, but in the National Football League. And I kept saying that this was going to be the game to see if the Colts were real. I kind of paid a little bit more close attention to them after they beat the Chargers in SoFi. But the Chargers are a shell of themselves, if you ask me. What were we going to get from the Pittsburgh Steelers? Because, yeah, their offense is okay, but their defense gives up 25 points a game, and that's so un-Steeler-like. Yesterday was the best I've seen the Steelers look all year long, especially on the defensive side. They sacked Daniel Jones 5 times. They forced 6 turnovers, including 3 interceptions of Daniel Jones. And most importantly, they neutralized Jonathan Taylor and put the ball in the hands of Daniel Jones. Daniel reverted back to his Giants days. He threw the ball 50 times, and you just can't have that happen. Aaron Rodgers, on the other hand, 25 of 35, 203 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. He was sacked 3 times. The Steelers are still struggling to run this ball. Jaylen Warren only had 16 carries on 31 yards. That's 1.9, damn near 2 yards per carry. But he scored 2 touchdowns, so I can't knock it or be mad at it too much. The Steelers won this game 27-20. Now that's a big win because a lot of people weren't taking you seriously, and you punched the Colts in the mouth. I have to give them that. The Steelers are 5-3. The Colts are 7-2. Prayers up to CJ Stroud. Hopefully this is nothing too serious. He did leave the game with a concussion. Denver, I think, would be taken a lot more seriously if they knew which version of Bo Nix they were going to get. I have no questions about Denver on the defensive side. Offensively, yeah. Yeah. The Rams handled their business against the Saints. Saints are 1-8. My God. Matthew Stafford, just another efficient day at the office. 24-32, 281 yards passing and 4 touchdowns. And the game of the day that everyone was talking about, Chiefs, Bills. Now, I've been so fortunate to preview every one of these matchups between Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. You know, I was telling somebody that this is a modern day Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. Because back then, when Peyton and Tom were still playing, the first thing I always checked for was, okay, when do Brady and Peyton play one another? And we always got that matchup. All these years later, we get that matchup between the Chiefs and the Bills. In the regular season, I remember their first one during the COVID year. It was supposed to be a Thursday night game. Then they moved it to Monday night in that topsy-turvy of a season. They've met in the playoffs 4 times. Buffalo owns the regular season. Kansas City owns the playoffs when it matters most. And, of course, Buffalo did win 28-21, and Josh Allen finally looked like all of the MVP that he was last season. This is by far, on paper, his best game. 23 of 26, 273 yards, and 1 touchdown. But most importantly, what did they do? They let James cook. 27 carries, $114. When he runs the football, that allows Josh Allen to just be Josh Allen, the quarterback. They didn't need him to be Superman. Dalton Kincaid was the leading receiver. 6 receptions, 101 yards receiving, and 1 touchdown. On the Kansas City side, just not a good day for Patrick Mahomes. 15 of 34, 250 yards passing, no touchdowns, 1 interception. Kareem Hunt, he was my X factor for this game. 11 carries, 49 yards, and 1 touchdown. No Isaiah Pacheco. He was hurt. Buffalo does it again. They win another battle in this rivalry. 28-21. I looked at the playoff picture. The Chiefs are in the hunt. Normally, we're used to them being, in first place in the division. But the Chargers still own a tiebreaker over them. And I think Denver's up on them, too. And we see that matchup in a couple weeks. Chiefs-Broncos, probably one that a certain somebody hosting a podcast called Monday Evening Quarterback will preview. But, yeah. I'll just say this. I have a feeling these two are going to meet again in January when it matters most. These are the two best teams in the AFC, in my opinion. I don't go by records. I go by what I know. And that's what I know, and that's what I feel. But Buffalo does win this game 28-21. Nobody left me any questions. Well, I'm about to check right now. Yeah, no one left me questions. So, looking at Monday Night Football tonight, Arizona, Dallas. Dallas has been so back and forth because 1 minute they win a game, next minute they lose a game. 1 minute they win a game, next minute they lose a game. I do like Dallas. There is no Kyler Murray tonight. It'll be Jacoby Brissett. Yeah, Dallas, that offense is going to be just on fire tonight. Yeah, I like Dallas. I think Dallas can win this game by at least 2 touchdowns. Dak is having an MVP year, if you ask me. And with that being said, that's a wrap for this episode of Monday Evening Quarterback. As always, thank you so much for following along. If you like what you heard, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. Log on to our site, become a subscriber today, which is thedailyblitz.blog. And you enter your email address. Everything I post will be sent to your inbox, into your email address. Follow us on Twitter at DailyBlitz_61. Follow us on Instagram at the Daily Blitz 61, or you can follow my personal Instagram page, which is the football analyst _61. Keep up with me on the airwaves every Monday night and Tuesday night. The Prime with David On Point, TJ Hopkins, Israel Rivera, and Matt James on Prime Sports World. Wednesdays, you can catch me on the betting window with Ronnie Kumpf, John Danzo, and Ryan Shaw. Thursdays, you can catch me on Snowman in the Morning with my main man, Brian Snow. Fridays, you can catch me on College Football Showdown, and I cannot wait to get back to that. We were off for a couple of weeks, but yeah, this is going to be fun this weekend because there's a pretty nice little slate of games. And just to recap everything with those guys, it'll be fun. And then every Monday Evening Quarterback, I will be back here next week, God willing. Of course, would it really be the end of the show without me giving shout-outs? Huge shout-out to my amazing family, my beautiful mother, my gorgeous sister, Taylor, my son, better known as my dog, Siebes, my dad. Love these guys oh so very much. My other siblings, Sean, Janice, Tanisha, Daphne, Brandon. Thank you guys for all you continue to do for me. Some of the other people I'm close with, Rob Carter, Mike Griffin, Velo, Alex Bennett. I hope fatherhood is treating you well. Corey Harris, Deshaun Elliott, Robert Butler, Jason Tyree, Kimmel Fryer, Candace Carter, Josh, his wife Diana, their 3 beautiful daughters, Tiffany, Natalie, and Madison. I hope you guys are doing well, and that is all love coming from Mr. Christian, as they refer to me. Kevin Cooper, his wife Lynn, and their beautiful baby girl Evelyn, who we all refer to as Evie. Coach Cole Johnson, our moderator D. Can't wait to keep talking football with you guys and everyone who I've contributed for in the past and everybody who I contribute for now. Thank you for letting me come on to break down and discuss the game I've loved for many years now. This has been another episode of Monday Evening Quarterback. Have a great week, but most importantly, have a blessed week. Be great. I will see you here next week, God willing.